Welcome to the Chemical Substances and Safety Data Sheets training module. There are 3 possible ways that you may be affected by chemical substances. Some can catch fire or explode. Some can cause burns or adverse reactions from direct contact with the substance, and finally, some can cause poisoning or harm by entering your body. Depending on the type of activity performed on the boat, as well as your role on the boat, the likelihood of encountering chemical substances may be relatively minor. However, even if this is the case, it is important to understand how to handle chemicals safely because the effects of some may not be apparent for many years, even if exposure is brief or one-off. The effects of exposure can be serious, resulting in cancer, skin disease, psychological illness, poisoning, respiratory illness, and even death. This is where the Safety Data Sheet, or SDS, is essential to manage the hazards associated with chemical substances in the workplace, including safe usage and storage. Workplace health and safety law requires an SDS for chemicals used in the workplace, but not for fuels, oils, coolants, chemicals in batteries or portable firefighting equipment. The SDS should be kept on board to serve as a reference and provide guidance. Let's take a look at an example of a safety data sheet for a chemical substance commonly used in prawn trawl fisheries. The chemical we will look at is sodium metabisulfite. In this instance, the SDS consists of 14 sections. Section 1 identifies the name of the product, the supplier, what it is used for, and details about the supplier. Here we can determine that sodium metabisulfite is used as a preservative for food, and an antioxidant. Section 2 identifies general hazards associated with use of sodium metabisulfite. The section also lists some basic controls to prevent injury when using the product, and how to respond if adverse effects from the product are experienced. Section 3 provides the chemical name of sodium metabisulfite, while Section 4 contains detailed first aid advice associated with sodium metabisulfite. Section 5 contains information relevant to sodium metabisulfite catching fire, or its exposure to extreme heat. Section 6 contains information relevant to the uncontrolled release of sodium metabisulfite. It also details the methods and precautions to be observed in any cleanup operation. Section 7 details precautions to take when handling sodium metabisulfite and how to store it correctly. Section 8 details control measures to prevent adverse exposure to sodium metabisulfite. This includes such measures as tolerable exposure levels, engineering measures to mitigate exposure, and personal protective equipment that should be used for protection. Section 9 describes its appearance and chemical properties. And Section 10 provides information related to stability of sodium metabisulfite when stored and reactivity when stored near other chemical substances. Section 11 provides information about side effects and symptoms that may be experienced if you are exposed to sodium metabisulfite. This information can then be used to determine the appropriate course of action from Section 4 in the SDS, which details first aid measures as a result of exposure to the chemical. Section 12 provides information about sodium metabisulfite's potential impact to the environment, and Section 13 provides information in relation to the correct disposal of sodium metabisulfite. Finally, Section 14 details how to safely transport sodium metabisulfite. Congratulations! You're finished. Now let's review the material we covered.